of the state into tomorrow morning. The moisture also produces rain and snow over the Intermountain West for both today and tomorrow. Showers drift into Los Angeles and San Diego metro areas later this evening and tomorrow. Snowfall of 1 to 2 feet is possible in these areas, with 6 to 18 inches possible over the mountains of Nevada and Utah through tomorrow. An upper level low forms over the southwest tomorrow and lingers into the region through the weekend. That upper low produces locally heavy rain in the desert region and heavy snow in the southern Rockies. Rainfall could exceed an inch or two in the deserts and may produce some flash flooding. Snow in the mountains could top a foot. Here in the Midwest, well, the next Arctic plunge pushes through the Dakotas today and reaches Minnesota, Nebraska, and western Kansas by tomorrow. Temperatures will plunge with highs only in the teens and 20s behind the Arctic boundary. A band of light to moderate snow accompanies the front through the Dakotas with accumulation of 1 to 3 inches possible. Low pressure forms along the front in east Colorado for tomorrow. The low streaks through the plains through the Great Lakes later tomorrow and Friday. A band of moderate snow occurs with the low from northwest Kansas and Nebraska into northwest Michigan. Snowfall of 3 to 8 inches is possible. Ahead of the Arctic fronts, light showers occur from east Kansas to north Michigan tomorrow. Thursday, rain and showers are expected from central Kansas to Illinois, Indiana, and north Ohio. High temperatures south of the Arctic front today range from the 40s and 50s in the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley to the 60s in Nebraska and Kansas. In the south, mainly quiet and dry across the region. Showers and thunderstorms occur in Florida and coastal Texas. High temperatures mostly in the 60s and 70s. Cooler 50s are forecast in North Georgia, East Tennessee, western South Carolina, and North Carolina. Warmer lower 80s are expected in southern parts of Texas and Florida. The Plains Arctic front plunges into Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle for tomorrow night, drastically dropping temperatures. By Friday morning, the mercury should be in the 20s and 30s, with a few upper teens possible. Light snow or freezing drizzle are possible with the arrival of the Arctic air. And finally, off in the northeast, well, high pressure will keep the region quiet with mostly sunny skies. It will be seasonally cold with highs in the 30s and 40s in New York and New England. Slightly milder 40s and lower 50s are expected in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, southward to the Virginias. The next threat of rain is Friday and Saturday as a cold front moves across the region. And that, my friends, is a brief look at the nationwide weather forecast, which you can get 24/7 via my website by clicking on the weather link or the weather button at tinyurl.com/Gunther'sHouse or /Gunther Mobile. The Kirksville area weather forecast for today calling for cloudy skies, showers, and possibly a thunderstorm before noon today. Rain continuing throughout the day. Temperatures holding steady in the low to mid 40s. South winds about 10 to 15 miles an hour, with wind gusts up to 20 to 25 miles an hour. Rainfall amounts anywhere from a quarter of an inch to a half inch are possible. For tonight, slight chance of rain mainly before midnight. Lows hovering around the mid 40 mark. South winds at about 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, cloudy skies. Rain continued through the late morning hours. Highs near 50. And south to southeasterly winds about 5 to 10 miles an hour, shifting to the northeast in the afternoon. New precipitation amounts between a tenth of an inch and a quarter of an inch are possible. Then rain likely for tomorrow night. Lows in the mid-30s. North winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, wind gust up to 20 miles an hour. For Friday, cloudy skies with a chance of snow mainly before noon. Highs only in the mid-30s, lows around 20. North winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Wind gust up to 25 miles an hour. For Saturday, much colder. Sunny skies, highs in the upper 20s to lower 30s, lows in the lower teens. A little bit warmer on Sunday with highs in the upper 20s to lower 30s, lows around 20 to 25. And looking into the new work week, Monday, calling for partly sunny skies, highs in the upper 30s, lows in the mid-20s. For Tuesday, sunny skies, highs once again in the upper 30s. And that, my friends, is a brief look at the weather forecast. again, available on my website at tinyurl.com/Gunther'sHouse or /GuntherMobile. Having trouble retrieving the hourly stats at this point, so we'll do away with that once again for today. My apologies. But from the looks of things, this is going to be summer to tomorrow's winter. Oh, there's the Soma ad again. Boy, that gal is hot. Very hot. Anyway, there's no way she could look that way naturally. There had to have been some photo touch-ups. There are no blemishes on her skin whatsoever. Anyway, sorry. I apologize. Still to come on the program, we'll have Today in History in a few minutes, as well as the celebrity birthdays, CBS World News Roundup, News of the Weird, the Hump Day Song. We're going to have the Composers-datebook and the Writers-alamanac with Garrison Keeler. That's coming up next. You're listening to First Cup. I'm Joe Haffner from Studio 4.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
Winter weather warning right now. Here's a lot.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends.
In biology,
In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
This is Linda Ronstadt. If you get high, be sure you don't die. Some drugs speed you up, and some drugs slow you down, and booze makes it all the more dangerous. Watch out for the things that might wreck you or your pickup truck.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And here is the Writers' Almanac for Wednesday, the 20th of November, 2013. It was on this date in 1820 a sperm whale attacked a whaling ship off the coast of South America. The ship was the Essex out of Nantucket. The captain, George Pollard Jr., just 29 years old, the youngest man to ever command a whaling ship. The Essex was a pretty old ship and rather small. She was headed for the whaling grounds off the west coast of South America when she ran into a squall, lost her topgallant sail, and nearly sank. When they finally arrived near the Galapagos Islands, they found the grounds nearly fished out, so they struck out for a new whaling ground thousands of miles off the coast, much farther from land than whalers usually like to go hunting. On the morning of the 20th, they ran into a pod of sperm whales, harpooned a couple of them, and then found themselves face to face with an enormous whale who was behaving strangely. The whale rammed the ship repeatedly. crushed the bow of the Essex and swam off, never to be seen again. The ship sank, and the crew set off in some of the small whaleboats. They headed for South America. By the time they arrived at the Pitcairn Islands, some of them had died of thirst. Their food ran out. Some of them resorted to cannibalism. By the time they were rescued, many of them had lost their minds. But Owen Chase survived, wrote an account of the event. It came out in 1821. 20 years later, his son met another seaman, Herman Melville, gave Melville a copy of his father's book. Melville read it, and it inspired his book, Moby Dick. And it's the birthday of the novelist Nadine Gordimer, born in Spring, South Africa, in 1923. She grew up in a middle-class white community near a gold mine where all the black workers were forced to live in a windowless barracks guarded by police. Never thought about who those miners were or what their lives were like until she read a novel by Upton Sinclair, The Jungle. She moved into Johannesburg and started writing short stories, watched as many of her black friends were put under surveillance, arrested for treason. Nadine Gordimer, one of the few white novelists of her generation who did not go into exile, started to write about the South African political resistance in a series of novels, including The Late Bourgeois World, The Guest of Honor, The Conservationist. And for 60 years she contributed short stories to the New Yorker magazine. In the short stories, she said, contact is more like the flash of fireflies, in and out, now here, now there, in darkness. Short story writers see by the light of the flash. Here's a poem for today by William Blake, To the Evening Star. Thou fair-haired angel of the evening, now whilst the sun rests on the mountains, light thy bright torch of love, thy radiant crown put on, and smile upon our evening bed. Smile on our loves, and while thou drawest the blue curtains of the sky, scatter thy silver dew on every flower that shuts its sweet eyes in timely sleep. Let thy west wind sleep on the lake, speak silence with thy glimmering eyes, and wash the dusk with silver. Soon, full soon, dost thou withdraw, then the wolf rages wide, and the lion glares through the dun forest. The fleeces of our flocks are covered with thy sacred dew. Protect them with thine influence. To the Evening Star, a poem by William Blake. That's the Writers' Almanac, supported by the Poetry Foundation, publisher of Poetry Magazine, committed to discovering great poets and printing their verse. Back issues and subscriptions available at poetryfoundation.org. Engineered by Noah Smith, produced by Joy Biles. Be well, do good work, keep in touch.
This is the Composer's Datebook for November 20th. I'm John Zeck. Gustav Mahler's Symphony No. 1 was first heard on this day in Budapest in 1889 with the 29-year-old composer conducting. Originally billed as a symphonic poem, a newspaper in Budapest even printed a detailed program, obviously supplied by Mahler himself. For subsequent performance in Europe, Mahler quickly withdrew these Cliff Notes to his first symphony. "20 years later, in December of 1909, Mahler conducted the American premiere of his first at Carnegie Hall during his first season as music director of the New York Philharmonic. The symphony drew mixed reviews. Some New York critics said it was impossible to fathom without knowing the original program. There are matters in it that as absolute music have no evident significance and that serve merely to puzzle and perplex, wrote the Times. The critic for The Sun took a dislike to the symphony's finale, suggesting, quote, "When the weather is bad in Tyrol, it is beyond the power of language to characterize." Mahler's own reactions are recorded in a letter he sent to Bruno Walter. The day before yesterday, I did my first here, apparently without getting much reaction. However, I myself was pretty pleased with that youth.